Hey guys, it's Lizzie and this is Ask Lizzie number 12. Comment below questions for number 13, which I'm so stoked for because 13 is kind of like a theme on this channel. And also there's going to be a playlist linked below to every single Ask Lizzie video I've ever made, so check that out too. Molstover XOXO. What are you most excited about for summer 2014? Two things. Number one, my website. I'm designing it right now and I'm putting different articles and quizzes, and I have a bio. I'm gonna have a Devo section where I like talk about different Bible verses and what they mean to me. It's gonna be advice, stuff about me, stuff that inspires me, and I'm just so excited for you guys to see it and to keep designing it because it's so much fun to design. But I'm even more excited to be back in Thailand. I'm going to be there from the 3rd week of June through the end of July. 6 weeks. It's gonna be so intense and I'm so stoked for it because I miss the people there so much. I'm going to Thailand through Let's Start Talking, and I have this Luke workbook and there's different lessons and you read through the lesson and then answer the questions and you talk about God and grammar, and it's just so much fun, and I love everyone in Thailand so much. I miss you guys, and I'm just so excited to be back there. It's like a family and I feel a part of it when I'm there, even though I'm not Thai at all because I'm blonde and I'm tall and I just don't look Thai, but they make me feel so loved and accepted and happy. Chan me kwab suk. 5 things I'm most excited for about going back to Thailand. Getting to spread the gospel and talk about my faith. Getting to be in scripture for like 8 or 10 hours a day. Accelerated spiritual growth. Getting to hang out with like all the friends I made in Thailand and getting to make even more friends and connections. Also, real quick, I know this is like a commercial, but this is kind of my life. I am raising money to go back to Thailand. I haven't raised enough money yet. I'm like halfway there. I need like $2,000 more, and I am still doing the Skype thing where I will Skype with whoever donates. Awesomeness 1197. What are your favorite iPhone emojis? This is a really cute question. Okay, I'm gonna put all my emojis, my favorite emojis, around the screen. These are the ones I use like all the time when I'm texting people or on Instagram or Twitter. What do you do when you feel discouraged? I tell God how I'm feeling. I talk about it with my friends. I cry. I listen to music that reminds me of how I'm feeling. Just feel the emotions. I made a whole video called How I Cry. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Stuff that makes me cry. Parentheses, emotional intensity and blocking emotions. Sad face with a tear. That's the title of the video. Go watch that. mcurtis974. Hey, I totally met you and you're really cool and I'm glad we got to hang out. What is one thing that you are looking forward to this summer? Okay, so I already talked about how I'm going to Thailand. I talked about how I'm gonna make a website called LizziesAnswers.com. I'm also really excited to go to my sister's graduation, which is in 3 weeks, and she's graduating from Brown. Their mascot is the bear, the brown bear. So I'm excited to have my whole family reunited because of my sister's like internships and me being in Thailand, our family is like rarely like the 4 of us together, and so I'm just excited to like hang out with my family. Victoria Lee 3. How has your day been? I feel like not many people care to ask that anymore. It's actually been really good. I had work today and I'm doing, but this is Bible lectures week, and so there's like thousands of Church of Christ people from all over the country coming to Pepperdine to learn about God. The theme is come to the water. Oh my gosh, I always forget it. Come to the table, go to the water, enter the water, come to the table. So we're talking about baptism and communion. It's really cool because my job is recording the lectures, and so for 5 hours a day for my job, I get to sit in the classrooms and just like listen, and it's so inspiring. So I listened to 5 lectures today. That was really cool. I met a couple from Athens, Greece. They have a church there. That was really inspiring. And I got to hang out with Fallon and Nate. And I saw Lana. I got to hang out with Paige for a few hours, which was really cool. I didn't cry today, which is really good because I cry almost every day. Actually, wait, I stayed up really late last night, which was part of today, and I cried because I was reading through, I did cry today. I was reading through my God journal from the beginning of sophomore year, and there were all these things I prayed about that God had answered, but I'd forgotten that I like had written out a prayer about them, and so it was just so cool seeing God like fulfilling what I asked and like being so faithful. And it's just cool like recognizing how God has grown me this year spiritually, because he's grown me so much and he's molded me, and it's been really painful and awful at times, but it's been like so great that like God's changing me to make me more useful to love other people. So it was just, I just felt really peaceful like looking back, and I don't know, kind of instilled like my trust in God, just knowing that He just cares so much about like us each individually, about our individual attributes, our individual spiritual gifts. He cares so much, and he's individually molding each of us. And I think that's, I don't know, I just like, I was so happy. I cried, like so spiritually like filled. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, so that was my day. It was good. Brittany Z. Nicole, how do you deal with anxiety? So I'm not the type of person who tends to worry about everything. Like, that's not my spiritual struggle that I like deal with all the time, but sometimes I do overanalyze my emotions, and I'm like thinking so much about something, and it kind of is synonymous with worrying, I guess. And when that happens, I talk to someone and I just like say how I feel, and I like rant and just get it all out, and then I end up feeling better just by like saying it. But the actual way that I deal with it is I pray about it, and it's literally like supernatural, because I will be like crying about something, so like worried about something, and then I'll just like pray about it, and like I don't know, it's something about like saying it out loud to God. It's like you're surrendering it to him, and he like takes it away, and then like I don't even like, I feel peace about what was making me cry earlier. Like, it's literally like a miracle. Like, God is so amazing for carrying our burdens for us. And I pray out loud, or I journal, or I write it out. So both of those types of praying really help me with dealing with things that I'm worrying about. Bookwormly, I have seen your username so much on this show and on Instagram. I love you so much. What should you do if you are in a new school and you don't fit in, but you try to make friends and that doesn't work? Okay, so I have an entire video about this called Moving to a New School and Awkward Middle School Stories, and I'm gonna link it below or here so you can click and watch it. And I didn't fit in 8th grade, and I don't know, I didn't really click really well with people in my high school either. I just didn't feel like people understood me. I didn't feel like I found people who were gonna be my best friends for life, and you can't do anything. Like, if you don't fit in with the people, if they don't like you, you can't do anything about that. I think that what you can do is you can initiate becoming friends with people by being really friendly and talking to them and asking questions and being interested in their lives, and I feel like that is a good way to make connections. But if people are being antagonistic towards becoming friends with you, that's not your fault at all, and it says nothing about your value as a person or your awesomeness as a person. So I know it's like impossible not to, but try not to beat yourself up about it or to worry about it too much. And just recognize that like things will change, and you'll get into different social structures once you get into high school, or once you get into college, or once you get into a work environment. Like, things will change. It won't always be this lonely. Rachel Lynn 001, how do you deal with going through a phase where you feel like you don't have any close friends? So I felt like that for most of high school, where, I mean, I guess there was like freshman and sophomore year, I did feel like there are people who I would have called best friends, but looking back, they weren't really best friends compared to like the best friends I have now. But I'd say like junior and senior year, I had so many like friend groups like dismantled that I didn't have anyone to talk to when I had a problem. I just had no one to talk to. Looking back, it was really emotionally unhealthy, because I would be hurting from things and just be crying by myself, and then I would talk to my friends at school but not really tell them what's actually going on, and I just wasn't being vulnerable with anyone. I was just crying by myself and going to God. And so I think the way to deal with it is just get through it and know that like this is not how it's always going to be. And I think it's so great that God gives us times in our lives when there's like deserts in regards to like our relationships, and so we're forced to rely completely on him. Something really cool that this guy shared at Sunday Night Chapel at Pepperdine was that God plus nothing is the same as God plus everything. So if you have like everything in your life, like you have a boyfriend, you have best friends, you have money, you have a really good job, you're really smart, you're really attractive, and then if you take all that away, it's the same as like having no close friends, being single, being really poor, being homeless. Like, that's the same as having all that stuff. And so just like really learn to rely on God and just find all your fulfillment and joy and contentment in him. And I think that's just a really great challenge for that time. Livy Girl 98, my best friend is moving away, what should I do? So this is gonna sound really negative, but you probably will not be close anymore, because every time I've moved away from one of my best friends or had a best friend move away from me, we are not close anymore. We barely ever communicate ever. You need to accept that it's not going to be the same. You're basically losing a friend. Cry about it. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be sad. But she'll find new people, and you'll find new people, and you'll grow. And the most beautiful, beautiful thing is that she will always be a part of your heart. She'll always be there because she changed you and you guys grew together. And so your roots will always be tangled. and she'll just be a part of who you are. And that's amazing, but that doesn't necessarily mean that like in the future she's going to be like doing life with you. If you do really care about this person, you guys are like soulmates, sisters for life, and you just really want to make it work, go for it. And so what needs to happen for that to happen is you guys need to have a conversation before you leave of like how you're going to communicate and stick to it. Be like, we're going to talk on the phone once a week. And I feel like with the internet now, you can be updating each other like a lot, and you can Skype and you can stay close, and you could visit her maybe like in the summer. You could fly to wherever she moves to and visit her, and so it doesn't have to be like complete disconnection. But I feel like if you guys are younger and there's like no hope of you guys seeing each other again, I mean, it could completely unravel your friendship, and it's really sad, but it's happened to me. You cry and you feel like really hurt by it and you miss them, and there's not really anything you can do to make it better. Sometimes things in life are just really painful and sad, and it just is. Sophie7890. Hey Lizzie, I have to present a project for Monday and I'm really nervous. I hate public speaking. I was wondering how to make myself not nervous for this. I was on the debate team in high school for 4 years, and it made me so confident in public speaking, and also I was doing my YouTube channel at the same time, so both of those things combined have taught me like how to be confident and not scared when you're talking in front of people. The best thing to do is to practice, to have a script written out of exactly what you're going to say. Have this finished at least like a week before you're presenting, and then just practice it for hours. What I did preparing for debate tournaments is I would like read my speech in front of a mirror, and I would like look at myself talk and just make sure that I was making enough eye contact, my gestures were good, stuff like that. And also I would film myself, pretend like I'm actually doing the speech, then watch it back, and then I don't know, then you're more aware of like how your body is, how you're moving, how you're gesturing, stuff like that, and then you can like tone down on like what needs to change to make your presentation better. But the most important thing is to just read through that like dozens and dozens and dozens of times. Practice presenting dozens of times. And so I would finish your presentation, make sure it's done like a week before you present, and then every day after school for like 1 to 2 hours, read through it. And if you have that thing memorized by heart, by the time presentation day comes, you'll just be so confident and articulate in what you're going to say. You may still be really nervous, but what you should do is convert the nervousness, like there's like that energy of like shaking and being scared, convert that into excitement. And that literally works. My public speaking teacher freshman year told us that, and it totally works, because even I get scared before presenting. I love public speaking, but when I'm getting in front of people, like the moments before, it's just like, it's like those little butterfly things in your stomach. It's really scary. It's underscore London. How to deal with friends who do not believe in God. I don't like this question. You're asking like how to deal with them like it's an inconvenience or something, and I don't like that at all, because I feel like just because someone doesn't have the same religion as me doesn't like reduce their value as a person, and doesn't reduce like the amount of like inspiration and impact they can have in my life. And so I don't really like differentiate between like Christians and non-Christians. I don't like categorize that in my mind and be like, oh, like you're my Christian friend, so like I can do this with you, and you're like not a Christian, so like you can only be a friend to me in these ways. Like that's really weird, and so don't do that. Just like look at everyone as a person, as an individual. Don't be constantly trying to convert them. Like that's gonna push people away, and that's just kind of rude. I mean, if you want to talk about like your relationship with God and like what you're doing with your church and like how you're praying, like go ahead, talk about your relationship with God if it's a huge part of your life. Talk about your involvement with your youth group friends if they're a huge part of your life. Talk about what your church is doing if you're really excited and passionate about it. Like all of that though will automatically come out if you're friends with this person. And I made a whole video about this. The video is called Talking About God with Your Friends, parentheses, how to evangelize. And I just shared my experiences in this of how, what not to do and what to do in sharing your faith. And I think a lot of it is not actively being like, hey, I think your beliefs are wrong, can I tell you why I believe in God? Like no one wants to hear that. And so just like, do not treat those friendships as like you're trying to get something out of them. Treat those friendships as like you love every single person you interact with, because that's what Jesus calls us to do. Forever Sarah 99. I love you too. Aww. How to be less shy and more confident about talking and becoming friends with the guy you like. I just think it's really cool how you're so scared of them rejecting you, and you like them so much that you like don't even know what to say when you're around them, and you feel really nervous. Like I think that's really beautiful, and so appreciate that, even if it's really stressful. But the way to get around that is to fake confidence, and also practice what you're gonna say like in the mirror. I hate that I'm admitting that I do this. Go in front of a mirror and like practice what you're going to say and like think of what they might say and like prepare for the conversation so that if it does happen, you'll be prepared with like things to talk about. Quick story, when my dad was dating my mom, he would call her on the phone and he would write down a list of what to talk about so that it was never awkward. And my parents have been married for over 20 years. Emily4656, I was wondering, how do you stay with your Bible studies when you have so much homework and other things going on? I finally figured it out this year. You don't prioritize school. You just don't. You prioritize God. And so even if you have all this homework to do, the first thing I do, I try to do, obviously I fail at it, when I get back to my dorm room and I'm like, oh, I have all this stuff to do, like, kneel down on my carpet and I just pray and I'm like, God, and I talk about what's worrying me, I talk about like anyone who needs prayers, I briefly like ask him for help in finishing my homework, and I just like, I don't know, like you take it all to God. I made a video called I'm Too Busy for God, and I talked about what to do in that video if you're so busy and how to like prioritize God. And I guess like the main thing is that I bring my Bible with me everywhere, and in free moments I read it. So if I have like 2 minutes of downtime here, 10 minutes of downtime here, 40 minutes here, I'll just read my Bible. And you can also pray throughout the day. You can pray in the middle of class. Sometimes in the middle of class, I'm writing out prayers in my journal. And it's like, you know what? Like, you need to prioritize your soul over learning. But you should just watch the video. It'll answer your question in 6 minutes and 37 seconds. JC Freak, what do you have planned for after college? By the way, I love your videos and I love recommending them to friends. Oh, thank you so much for spreading my channel. You are so amazing. I love you. So after college, I want to take a gap year and I want to either do China calls, which is where you teach English and evangelize in China, or go back to Thailand for a year or two. So I want to go do missionary work and then go to grad school. I want to get an MDiv or law school. I haven't decided yet. I think I might want to stay in academia. I might want to go into like nonprofit stuff. I might want to go into government type stuff. I do not know. I might want to be a writer. I don't know. I don't know, but I don't really care because God will use me somewhere, and I'm really content with where I am right now and how God's using me right now. So Sparkly Cupcake Mouse, how do you survive during finals week? Mine is coming quick. Okay, so I just had the most peaceful finals week of my life a couple weeks ago, and the way I got through it is I depended on God, and I read my Bible every day and I prayed during it and I listened to worship music, and I didn't let myself become encompassed by stress. I didn't let that steal away like me being in God's presence. So that was really good. Start studying early, start studying weeks in advance, and make study guides. And I should make a whole video on how to study. How have I not done this yet? I love studying. What I do is I make a study guide and then you write everything out because you remember better if you write everything out. So I do that, and then I like read my notes out loud. Talking out loud, pretend like you're teaching someone and you'll memorize it so well. If you're in like a foreign language class and you have like all this stuff to memorize, or just like a class with excessively, ridiculously amounts of vocab words to memorize, record it on your iPhone. Like talk to your phone, say everything you need to remember, and then listen to it in your earphones while you're walking to class, while you're cleaning your room, while you're sitting on your bed listening to it, while you're doing your makeup in the morning. And so have those recordings prepared like a week before your tests, and you will be golden. You'll get A's on your tests. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I love you so much. Bye!